This is the tutorial for Chapter 25 in your Beginning AutoCAD workbook. Our objectives for Chapter 25 are to create a new text style, change an existing style, delete a style, select a point style, divide an object into a specified number of segments, and divide an object into a specified measurement. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is let's look at the text command. So let's go into Annotate, the tab along the top. And on our text panel, let's hit the little flyaway to bring up our text style dialog box. So this is where you can create new text styles. So let's go New, and let's just call it January 20th. Okay. So now this box down at the bottom will show what my changes are going to look like. So I don't know, let's just pick a style. I'm looking for something that I know might look different. Here, Country Blueprint. I can select the height for it. If I don't change the height in here, then every time I go to enter the text through the command, it'll ask me for a height. So I'm just going to leave it as 0 so that I can set it to whatever I want when I'm working with it. Width factor, for instance, if I changed it to 5, it's just going to spread everything out. So I'm just going to leave it at 1. Oblique angle, so kind of like italics basically. I could say I want it backwards, that I want it upside down, backwards and upside down. You can see that this one vertical is grayed out. That's because to select vertical, it has to end, your font type has to be an SHX type font. And even then, sorry, not all of them will. So here's one that does. So I could save that, apply, and close. Okay, then I come up here to my text panel, and all the text styles I have are listed up here. Okay, so if I decided I wanted to delete one, same thing. Go into my flyaway box, January 20th, and I can't actually delete January 20th right now because it's the current one. So I'd have to go standard, set current, and then I could delete that one. And to change any of the effects, so upside down, backwards, width, you just select the one you want and go in and make the changes. Okay, so those are creating, deleting, and modifying new text styles. Let's look at the divide command first. So the divide command divides an object by the number of segments you want and places a point at each interval. So the line doesn't get broken. It just places points along it. So let's go back to our Home tab, and under Draw, we have Divide, and we have Measure. So we'll look at Divide first. So Divide, or you can just type Divide on your keyboard. So select the object that you want to divide. Now I know that this line is, I think it's 6 inches long, but I'm going to say I want to divide it into, let's say, 6 segments. So it'll place these points along your line. If you did this and didn't see any points, it's because your point style isn't changed. So to change what your points look like, you have to type in DDP TYPE, and your point style dialog box will open. and you can select whatever you wanted your points to look like. If you didn't see any points made, it was probably selected on this style. So let's pick one of these ones. So there, that's how divide works. Measures a lot like divide because it draws points at selected intervals. However, the measure command allows you to specify the length of the segments rather than the number of segments. So let's say I'm going to do measure, and it says select the object to measure. Now pay attention to where you click on the object. If I click at this end, it's going to start measuring from that end. If I click on this end, it's going to start measuring from that end. So wherever I click is where it's going to start measuring from, or the side it's going to start measuring from. And my length, I'm going to say I want them to be 1.5. So 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. And I have, well, in this case I don't have any left over, but if I used a different value, so let's do measure again. And I'm going to select, let's say I did I have to pick my object first. And my length 1.115. So here, you can see that I have a little piece left on the end. So that's chapter 25, text styles, measure, divide, and to create our point, the command that we used, or to change the visual display of our points, the command was ddp type. That's the end of our tutorial for chapter 25.